All right, everyone. It is time to begin the process once more. The storytelling process, the workshop of holiday creation. And speaking of fall holidays here, O'Sheep says, some biscuits would be good right now. It's so cold. Every winter I make homemade buttermilk biscuits. Ooh. Just never forget, O'Sheeps, who butters your biscuits. Orc says, I do have an idea for this new character, loosely based on the personality of a real-life professional wrestler and rock star, whose stage persona is that of an arrogant bad guy, but I don't know how to go about role-playing within the realm of D&D. Well, Orc, we are actually going to be creating a holiday that is... It does incorporate feats of strength, kind of like Festivus from Seinfeld, if you're familiar. But as someone who used to be bad and is good and has found purpose through strength and helping and eating. Cybernetic Lithid, my central air broke, so it's on full freeze mode at the moment. Can't complain about not having a winter in Vegas. I'm getting one indoors. Ooh. O'Sheep says all of my husbandos. Does he also promote his own underwear brand in rather silly skits? And drink too much vodka? Victor says, I was thinking of doing a base race like a human with +2 to any ability, and then depending on the species, you get one feature and ability score. Again, Victor, what I would suggest, make 4 of them and put all of your ideas into them. Because you can always pare back ideas and bring it down. But just start creating. Because if you're here, and I don't mind listening to what you have to say and thinking about it. But just throwing out an idea of, well, I'm thinking about a race, maybe it's a horseshoe person, +2 to something, I can't really comment on that because we're doing this other workshop. But also, even if I wasn't, I'd still be sitting here like, I don't know. I don't see a stat block. I don't have the thing to manipulate and play with after it's been produced. So, Victor, I would just sit down and say, you know what? I'm going to make 4 of these races. Use templates from races that already exist. Or just use the formatting and go nuts with it. And then when you're done, let's talk about it in the RPG workshop, where we can look at it, we can type things out, we can take a look at the file or whatever you have to upload. Hey, Bubonic One. Bubonic One, that's what Sheep said. Orc says, Phoenixina, it's the thing, I don't even know where to start with this character. Regardless of the profession, I don't know how to fit the arrogant rockstar personality into an adventuring party. Orc. We made one of those last year when we made the Healing Words band for our Mesotopia setting. What's his name? I'll have to find it for you during break and see if I can get him over to you, Orc. But we made a Rockstar style because we made a band of bards. And one of them was like a visual key or a visual K. Rockstar, pretty boy, evil alignment, but he's not a bad person. So, for the holiday here, what I wanted to bring up was our NPCs. Now, you may recall, if any of you were here for the process of the workshop so far, we ended up making 2 villains and 2 NPCs. Each of them were a representation or a manifestation, a mascot of some kind, of an autumnal holiday And we did a little research into what are different holidays that exist, and how could we put a theme of an autumnal holiday onto each of the characters. And we ended up doing so. Yesterday, we started taking the steps to flesh out the holidays around the characters. And we ended up with some really cool holidays here. Although, you know, we didn't have a name of our second holiday from last night. There was the drinking holiday around the dragon. However, we did come up with Frostfall, which is more of a harvest/labor festival. Not necessarily about eating, but of course, you know, food and whatnot's involved. This is more about community, labor, and you know, coming together for strength. Then we have our to-be-named holiday here, which is it's a celebration of drink and one's decisions made during it. It's a reflection of history, in particular for the dwarves of this community, as it reflects them getting ousted from their mountain by a dragon. And now we are moving from our villains over to our NPCs. And this NPC that we created is a representation of kind of like a Thanksgiving where food is involved. However, because you know, this character is an expert dart thrower and a rock skipper, some kind of sports are involved. Some kinds of feats of strength or contests. People getting together, eating food, and engaging in sports ball. So we have a tailgating, a Thanksgiving, the Inori Festival in Japan, where they take local seasonal ingredients and make big community hot pots out of them. And the story of this character who's representing this holiday was he grew up as this urchin halfling, scrawny, probably had to steal to eat. You know, gotta steal to eat, gotta eat to live, otherwise we'd get along. Wrong. Da 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 da. So, you know, he was a riffraff, he was a street rat, and he did not buy that. If only they'd look closer, then they'd see he's just a poor boy. So high dex, low strength, and you say, well, hold on, low strength, but we have a berserker barbarian? Yes. Because you know what, as a kid... Oh, can't keep awake any longer? All right, Corvus. Corvus, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. That was really nice of you to do. It's good to see you back. Sovrag, welcome. Good to see you back, Sov. I'll try not to, but I think I can do that because I sell their product, you know, so it's whatever's. Raven, not sure if anyone's seen it, but The Dirt on Netflix could be a good place to get an idea of a personality of a rock star, as it's the biographical movie of Motley Crue. I've not seen that. That's an awesome suggestion, though, for Orc Raven. That's really cool of you to do. All right, so we had someone who, as the folklore goes, grew up, stole food, was an urchin, and something happened where he started to... Maybe he started to grow his own food, instead of just getting by off of other people. You know, he was the rats of Nim that didn't want to live off the humans anymore. And so he started farming. He grew stronger because of it. He started working hard. He was earning his living. And he ate, and he got stronger and more powerful. And so while we have this barbarian berserker, this isn't so much being hangry as much as it is Popeye eating spinach and he gets stronger when he eats. And he wants to feed other people. He wants people to be happy and healthy. He wants people to engage in recreation and not crime or misery. And this is the basis for this kind of Thanksgiving / Festivus / Inori / like tailgating season. Oh, it's a good introduction. It captures the attention. You have the hook. Now you got to make sure you're reeling the reader into the story from there with your content, Victor. Also, if you're writing an RP, make sure that your references are concise and that the way things are laid out makes it a lot easier for people to reference. All right. How would we like, so speaking of writing, how would we like to summarize the point of this holiday? If you grew up in this countryside, right? Rolling hills, lots of farms, halflings and dwarves everywhere. A distant mountain that's kind of ominous. And so here, where we had the dwarven drinking holiday, this is like a halfling feasting holiday. Could we say the point? The point is sharing one's labors and joy to help others, especially those in need. An alternate sentence? A second sentence? Would any of you change this point of the holiday? Absolutely, Victor. The primary traditions. Well, if this person was an expert dart thrower and rock skipper, it sounds like there's some kind of a sports festival, or a sports competition. And in fact, maybe this holiday is even run in tangent with the dwarven, the wine drinking holiday as well. Camaraderie? Yeah, Raz. So a sports competition is involved with activities like rock skipping, darts. Would be a good like a fall, tug of war. Is there a sport that we play that halflings would really be into? Like a real life sport? And don't say foosball because it's small people playing soccer. I get it. I mean, we could put foosball up there, but... A caber toss, says Daly. Oh, Sheep says small people playing soccer. Pumpkin chuckin'. Oh, see? So if that's the case, then also, oh, Sheeps, you know what? That farmer's daughter that we made, the half-drow, if she lived here on the farm, maybe she would enter a pumpkin seed spitting contest. And she could brag that she spat her pumpkin seeds out the furthest. Halfling Caber tosses a 2x4, says Cybernetic Elithid. Oh, cornhole. They grow corn. I know it's beanbags, but, you know, whatever. Or call it, if not cornhole, because there's that idea that Raven said of pumpkin chucking. Cornhole. Pumpkin portal? Yeah. Pumpkin chucking. And then, of course, you scoop the seeds afterwards for the seed spitting contest. Raz is saying crochet. Victor says rugby. My half-drow daughter and my half-elf warlock husband. What a beautiful family. Oh, warlock husband with a weird two-headed worm that talks to him all the time. Well, hey, you know, he has character. You're going to draw a family portrait. You're going to have a grumpy sheep in the middle of a lovely half-drow daughter and a half-elf warlock husband. In that vein, sports that are more about accuracy than strength. Horseshoes, lawn bowling. Oh, what's, bocce? Bocce ball? Yeah, there goes the 3'4" quarterback and a touchdown. Ah, gotcha. It'd probably be the fawn then, right? Oh, okay. All right. So all of these would be, you know, like festival contests, things that everyone can enter in. Maybe it's a couple days worth and you sign up for the activities you want. But yeah, these are definitely, well, it wouldn't just be, I think it'd be dex and strength as well. They often possess excellent skill at throwing sling stones, darts, and other ranged weapons, these being popular sports in halfling communities. Official Wizards of the Coast sports. Another excuse to draw, yes. You used to play Blood Bowl, so halfling football is the best and worst idea. Oh, not crocheting, but croquet. Ah. Or if not croquet, cricket. Arm wrestling. All right. Do we have taboos for this holiday? During the time that we're feasting and conducting feats of strength and dexterity, when we're here to forgive people from their past, to help the unfortunate, what would be a taboo during this time? One or a couple? No blood doping. I would imagine that, you know, performance enhancing spells wouldn't be allowed. And good morning to you, Grimvex. I hope your Saturday morning is off to an awesome start. Is there something that we shouldn't eat? Is there something that we shouldn't do or say? Is there something that we shouldn't wear? You know, many athletes have superstitions or taboos. You know, they will not change their socks, or they always chew gum before they go out to pitch at the big game. You know, taboos might be, you know, obviously there's rules that, you know, no cheating, but it could be something. Is it a taboo to, I don't know, not wear like the blackout or whatever that athletes put underneath their eyes to help prevent shine? You have to cook meals large enough to share. Looked as selfish to just cook for yourself. Ah. Oh, so how about that, Sovreg? If we're talking about a Thanksgiving in a community style, a taboo is not to cook enough to share with a guest or neighbor. So during this time, people will go over to each other's houses and they'll eat each other's food as a way of bonding and getting to know each other. You're chewing gum constantly, yes. So yeah, you know about all of the superstitions, things people do. Whether it's a methodology of they have to double check their ice skates, or they say a prayer, or they don't change their socks, or they always have a plate of spaghetti the night before. All of this can come into play here. I like the not cook enough to share with a guest or neighbor. And you know what? That could also bleed into something to not set an extra place at your table. Even if you don't have a guest, it makes you conscientious of who could you invite to dinner? Who could you have over? Who could you welcome into your home? Yeah, Ravenloft is definitely Strahd's domain. All right, what are some common symbols? What are symbols that we would see that would represent this holiday? Something like like a handshake? Something like I don't know. A pumpkin with a kind of a comical little bite taken out of it. Or like a simple pumpkin seed even. Some people you played with had really out there superstitions. One guy had to always be the fourth person on the ice or field in every sport and would always take a 10-minute nap during intermissions. People get serious about their methodology and how they conduct themselves in sports. Handshaking. Have to have enough plates set in case the local wizard invites a band of dwarves. Yeah, I mean, how many times would that happen? That the local wizard would just have like 12 dwarves over to a halfling's dinner. All right, Victor, we'll be here. So something like handshaking. They must always set an extra plate out for the young homeless of the village or random wanderers during the day of the festival. I like that, Phoenix. No one should go hungry on this day. And that could even be something like taking food to the local infirmary. Or taking... because, again, this is about things like forgiveness of the past or making up for it. It might even be customary to take a plate of food to the local jail and make sure that at least on this one day, people who've been put in jail, even if they're absolutely guilty of horrendous crimes, someone still takes a plate of food for even the worst offenders in jail, so that they can still have at least one good meal, and that it shows that the community is strong. The community won't be defined by those who've committed crime. And that ultimately, for everyone else who's not in jail, that this is a community of mercy. And if you need something, you should ask and not just steal it or take it or destroy it. An offender gets a get out of jail free card? Uh, possibly. I mean, if we're talking about a farming community village, we didn't say if it was 500 or 5,000 people. But if the jail had someone in there that, was a murderer, would you want to let the murderer go just because it's a holiday? Like, forgive them of the murder. Competitors must always shake hands. All right. And so maybe it's a special way. So it could just be a shaking of hands. Maybe they clasp forearms. There's the maybe you shake and you cover you cover each other's hands. Or when you shake, you also do a forearm grasp with your other hand. Like you go in for the handshake. Well met. Like there's a special handshake. Maybe when you handshake, it's actually like you lock your arms. I rub my elbow on something? Jeez. Probably so. Well, anyway. You lock your forearms together, so you get kind of a, the elbow crooks are intertwined. Well, it's not on my elbow. It's on my forearm. I think maybe I was leaning. I was leaning on the corner of my desk here. And it just... Like, have you ever, I don't know, like put your foot on your leg and then after a while it just leaves a red mark or whatever? Yeah, right? You get the indentations and whatever. So I think I just had like a little, whatever. Sports representations. I don't know, like a rope, and then there's a dart and whatever, like to show a league. Yeah, exactly, O'Sheeps. Yep. All right, now, for this holiday, what are the common colors? What do we see? The flags flown. People are wearing certain colors. What are common colors during this feasting and sporting and forgiveness festival? Do we have opposing colors where everyone is, a blue or a red? I know that's that's very basic. Or is it something that is just more representing the spirit of food or forgiveness or community, of strength? Common symbols: an open door signifying the idea that all are welcome, extending the tradition to always cook extra. The Cleveland Browns, so brown, orange, and white. I mean, I live close to them, so that's very vivid in my mind. Brown, orange, and white. It also plays into fall. As for the other color combinations, let's see. Burgundy, gold, and green was our drinking festival. And not that halflings don't participate, but that's more of a dwarven-inspired one. And then we have your harvest's primary color, plus everyone wears a splash of gray-blue to represent the coming frost. So we don't have an orange. I mean, so the color of the browns would work. We don't already have an orange or a brown or a white. Silver, green, red, and gold. So you want to blend this in with the drinking holiday? with the burgundy, gold, and green. Something to bear in mind is the drinking festival may also be going on alongside this feasting holiday. I think they can work really well together, especially because each is sort of a specialty of the two races that make this community. So it might be fun. So orange, brown, white is fun, or because otherwise you might have holiday participants in some other fashion. Because everyone wants to play darts with a drunk halfling. Well, presumably drunkards would only be able to participate in certain sports or competitions, and not actually impaling their friends with lawn darts. Those are Slytherin and Gryffindor colors, because I was just watching Harry Potter in their sports. And of course, hey, they start up in the fall, and of course you got to sign up for Quidditch. Oh, Raz! Uh-oh! The bot got you, Raz! Oh, no! Now, what about common decorations? Hey, Cold Spark. What kind of decorations would we see around? Would it be, Orc was saying a symbol would be an open door? Would a common decoration maybe be something called, the guest bowl or the guest plate or something, and families all have a special guest plate that they put out, or guest plates even. Maybe they cycle them, or they treat them like ornaments. So would a common decoration be like a super fancy guest plate? They could put up special arches on the walkways of towns. Oh, like banners or, yeah. And of course, look, because there's all sorts of sports going on, they'd want like a big flag saying like, hey, tug of war's up on the hill, and dart throwing is over there, and pumpkin seed tossing, followed shortly after by pumpkin seed spitting, is over there. And so, yeah, like big flags or something would be really good too. Big, colorful flags to indicate the feasts and feats of strength, as well as, what would you call them? Like, Heroes Arches or something? We'll just call them Heroes Arches. Between the... if they have lampposts, maybe they do. Maybe they have lampposts. Maybe the lampposts are just like in the downtown area. Oh, you think that... Hey, Coffee Cat, welcome. Coffee Cat was just having a caffeine fix. I hope it was going well for you. Welcome, Coffee and Volvo. So, Phoenix, you're thinking you want to call this holiday Open Door? Specific arches for the event from local weavers and carvers? Oh, you know what? We gotta have a parade. Especially if we're having those arches and everything on the streets. We are doing amazingly, Coffee. We're having an awesome brainstorming session about a Thanksgiving-style holiday. Volvo is lurking. Now, what are some common foods? If we're saying that everything that has come after the Harvest Festival could be available, and that's fine. But, you know, when we think of something like Thanksgiving, we often think of roast turkey, stuffing, pumpkin pie, maybe some sweet taters, yams if you prefer. If we think of, well, if you're Japanese and you think of inori, it's just that. You're making inori. And inori is a popular soup. It has regional variants, but everyone gets together, throws their ingredients in, and they make a special hot pot that is called inori. Phoenix says fresh lamb. Oh, Sheep says no. Cranberry sauce. I don't know if we have a cranberry marsh nearby, Crum Drawday. However, there could be other berries, like bush berries, that could be made into a pie. So Coffee Cat, you'd want some kind of a pie? A huge boar roast? Hey, Bewitch. Boar roast. Baked apples. Coffee Cat, what type of a pie would be served at a Thanksgiving / sporting festival holiday? Something like tailgating, you know, community fun stuff like tug of war, arm wrestling, darts, rock skipping. Would you want something like a hearty meat pie, or something like a chicken pot pie, or what would you like to eat at a festival like this in the autumn? A meat pie a la Sweeney Todd. Filled with Soylent Green. And remember that these are all things that are meant to be shared with other people. So you don't just make a baked apple, you make a dozen at a time. The boar roast, everyone gets a piece of the boar. Now, would it just be cornbread, or what would make it special, Valakut? Would it be a special kind of cornbread that's regional? A quipper mince pie. So, quipper is a type of fish, right? So they go fishing in the river that comes down. Oh, you know what? Everyone, if we go back to the setting, Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The popular tavern is called the Wandering Eel. And if they have eels in the river coming from the mountain, an eel pie could very well be a common, a savory meat pie dish. And so instead of a chicken pot pie, it could be something like an eel pot pie. And hello, Cake Boss. Unfortunately, cake pies have been brought up, but not cakes. Valakut, it's spiced cornbread. You gonna eat that cornbread? Cornbread with eel jelly? So it's a very savory. So wouldn't that make it would that make it a chutney? Would a savory jam or jelly be a chutney? Or some other kind of preserve, or marmalade, or oh my goodness, there's all the synonyms, everyone. Yeah, chili jam is a thing. So are we saying that there are cranberries? Maybe there are. Maybe they diverted the river and made a cranberry bog. I'm not against that idea. Eel jelly, as far as I'm aware, tastes more like pickled meat. So it'd be a mince meat then? Like, if we're calling it a jelly, are we saying it's mince meat, or are we saying it's eel roe? which if any of you have had that on sushi, you know it's good stuff. Eel roe could almost be an eel jelly. And then, of course, you just eat the eel otherwise. So, something about eels. An eel pie. A spiced eel pie. Eel roe. And cranberries? Maybe, I mean, they're freshwater eels in some way. Maybe the eels can even thrive in the cranberry bogs. Oh, so a chutney is a savory jelly, Crumdrade. By the way, I am pronouncing that correctly. Yes, you're not just politely deferring. I am continuing to pronounce that correctly. Am I right? Jellied eel is more like a pickled and boiled meal. Okay. This sounds really good. All right, everyone. What are 3 sayings, greetings, curses? What are 3 different things that people say during this time? What are 3 things people say during this time to each other? I'm starving could be one of those sayings, oh sheeps. Full belly, strong arm. A blessed bounty of health and wealth to thee. So would full belly be its own, like that would refer to someone like, oh, go look at that person over there. He's a right full belly if you ask me. Oh, that person's a strong arm. And you put him that person, that's a full belly strong arm right there. Now feed me, Seymour. A full stomach and a happy family to ye. Oh, sheep's is a full belly. I thought you said you're starving, or did you go get a snack and you're eating it right now? Luckily, I got myself some sandwiches to eat just now, so as not to be affected by this talk of food. Hearty gut, hearty butt. I require food. Why must it always lean towards food when I arrive? A pox upon your crops, and let this meal be your last. Oh, so someone's dropping a curse during our festive time of community feeding each other. So the crops are probably going to be more in the harvest festival. But it could be something. About the, the amount of food you have to offer is insufficient, or it's bad or spoiled. Gas, grass, or ass. It could be about your burrow. A pox upon the table. Oh, this is about community. If we're talking about feeding invalids, people in infirmaries, people in prison, a curse. What about this? What if you tell someone to get forgotten? That'd be pretty brutal in the spirit of this holiday. A plague upon your knife and a pox upon your wife. So if this is more of a welcome or a greeting, like full belly, strong arm, and then you tell someone, get forgotten. What would be a third saying that people use? good, bad, indifferent. It's something that comes up. Yes, Crumdrade, and I think that's what's so potent about that. Holiday's about community, so also surprise community is toxic. May hunger never curse your hearth. Was one that Raz put. Yeah, I mean, get forgotten or maybe be remembered. I think would occupy something similar here. Beware the jackalope. So I think Bewitched put something about a blessed bounty of health and wealth. What if it was something that ended up getting reduced down to... Everyone just goes around saying health and wealth, health and wealth, health and wealth, health and wealth. That, you know, those are people who are proficient with hand crossbows. You know, health and wealth to you, health and wealth to you, health and wealth, health and wealth. Health and wealth. All right, now, there are probably more than two, but what are the titles of two songs that people sing during this time of feasting and community and feats of strength or sporting events? What are two popular song titles, like a Christmas Carol style? Something that's just intrinsically linked to the holiday. What are two song titles? Eel, Corn, and Beer? As a song title, or was that a saying? Talking about, like, staples of whatever. A song titled Eel, Corn, and Beer. So what kind of a song is it, Cake Boss? Forget Me Not? And so same to you, Orc. What kind of a song would that submission be then? Is Forget Me Not a boisterous thing that people sing when they're passing food around a large table? Or is it more of a somber thing, like almost a mournful, so that we don't forget? Is Eel, Corn, and Beer almost like a dirty limerick that people chant, Cake Boss? Basically, a late-night drunkard's tune, easy to remember and sing along to. Well, we have a drinking festival that we made, Cake Boss, and so something like that could very well go over to that. But for a festival about sharing, about forgiveness, and about strengthening one's body through food, forgiveness, and these feats of strength or dexterity, what would be a good song title? Forget Me Not flowers would be a symbol. Do they bloom in the autumn, or is that going to be something more like chrysanthemums, or what? Maybe sunflowers or daisies? Orc says a fun, high-spirited song sang around the tables of infirmaries or prisons. Ah, so that's a special one for people to sing for those who are disadvantaged in some way. The brew, the bog, and the busty bard. The tumbled wench as well. Let's gather around the hearth with cheer. Crumdrade was so. What kind of a song would that be? Or the brew, the bog, and the busty bard? Is that similar to witchcraft? Because that could be a drinking song that we could put in our drinking holiday. I don't know if the bloom or I don't know if they bloom that time, but it might just be a painted ornament. Well, hey, we did talk about Sheeps. This place preserves the apple blossoms in the spring and like dries and presses them to release them on Harvest Day to show a cycle of life and a commitment of labor and going out of your way to do things. So forget-me-nots could also be pressed when they bloom. So pressing flowers could be cultural here. Around early spring. So that would play into the culture that a popular hobby here is pressing and drawing flowers. Oh, begonias. Begonias are not only gorgeous, but they're things that surly Southerners say to people that they want to be out of their presence. Cake Boss says, how about the song about the origin of the festival? Well, so that would probably be the Forget-Me-Not, because the origin of the festival was this urchin halfling who grew up hungry, who stole, but he ended up turning his life around and became strong and used his strength to help other people to make up for it. And the unusual skin color, we said that his hands were described as being orange because he stole a pumpkin. And so pumpkins are also involved in the festival here. The song would be sung as they prepare and gather around the table. Oh, okay, so kind of like all the Who's in Whoville singing before Christmas. Gotcha. They definitely could have some kind of ritual in the spring for flowers that correlates. And you know what, Sheeps? I love this exercise so much that I think we should make some spring festivals when that time comes around. All right, Sheeps, you have to remind me that sometime in this spring, maybe in April or May, when flowers are starting to show up, we have to do a spring holiday workshop. I think my suggested song, it is like a dirty scroll, perhaps a lewd limerick. All right, common clothing. What do people normally wear around this time of year to get in the mood? Around Easter, people tend to wear pastel colors. That's when they start wearing sundresses and the like. Christmas, we wear just god-awful, gross Christmas sweaters, and we love it. Not that mood. Oh, plaid. Now, I have an idea for plaid, Raz, but why do you suggest plaid? Oh, yeah. Oh, and Crumdrade, we had that come... Were you in our trivia murder party when that came up? They definitely make shirts with team names and logos on them. Well, I mean, so that's the fabric that's warm. What I'm thinking... Oh, so yeah, we had a trivia. We had a question about that in Trivia Murder Party on Tuesday, Crumdrade. What I'm thinking for plaid is a twofold. One, plaid is an interweaving of colors. And of course, as you weave, one thread becomes strong, like a rope or a garment. And so plaid... I think plaid would work as a symbol of strength and coming together. And then the plaid could be in team colors or whatnot. And also plaid, because if we are tossing cabers, we are wearing kilts. And kilts are best in plaid, in my opinion. So, common would be plaid designs. Especially kilts. Do we want people wearing kilts during this sports festival? It does make you very mobile. It could lead to some raucous humor, depending on how someone wears their kilt. But perhaps just the design, anything plaid. You know, you could have a harvest hat with a plaid band. It could be a plaid dress. Raz says if the kilt isn't plaid, it's a skirt. And so here we have the burly dwarf and stout halfling menfolk going around in kilts with other decor, beautiful bold plaid colors that show unification and strength with everyone together. All right, what is something we smell? Think of different holidays, and I can almost assure you can come up with a smell for any major holiday. So if we mention whatever we call this holiday, what are some common scents that come to mind? Yeah, plaid shawls, babushkas, overwhelming so yeah, pumpkins seem to be a theme here. So pumpkin for sure. Pumpkin fish and a bit of baking corn. Oh yeah, so eel. Or, I mean, if we just want to call it a fishy smell, but yeah. Pumpkin, fish. What are some other aspects of nature or... honestly, with all the cooking, what about something as simple and universal as wood smoke? Possibly leaf piles? No, we had something similar for our harvest festival, which was the smell of the smell of freshly hewn hay and other crops. The autumn leaves, I don't know if autumn leaves necessarily take a part in the festival. Not that they don't exist. But I think wood smoke or even burning leaves, because maybe they collect the leaves and they cook using the leaves. We can incorporate it that way. So if not wood smoke, then, smoked meals. What kind of ale or wine? They primarily, the smell of boiling water, says Cake Boss. For the drinking festival, they made some apple ciders, they made mead, and I think we gave them a grape wine, a burgundy wine of some variety. So that way we had a white wine with our mead, a red wine with our grapes, and we also had an apple cider that's growing in Apple Bottom Valley. Doesn't have to be called that. That's a continuing joke from last night. Ah, the quaint residents of Apple Bottom. Yeah, I mean, so pumpkin could be in pies or ales or something like that. Absolutely. All right, now, a secondary story. I'm not going to worry about that, but I'm keeping this here. I'm going to keep this here for future holiday creation use. And we can always go back, but this would be something where we know the main story to the holiday. Just like, what is the main story? What is the main story to Christmas? The birth of Jesus. However, how many other stories, such as A Christmas Carol, or any other popular story that takes place within or using the primary story as a foundation? So we could come up with a secondary story of someone who, a poor urchin who wanted to be like this, the mascot of the holiday, but of course exists a little closer to our time and our current state. And something happened, or it's the story of a poor bedraggled visitor who was turned down by so many people along the way until they found the village. And they found the village just when this ceremony was starting, and lo and behold, they were welcomed. Questions weren't asked, and they continued on past that, and they were healthier. Their strength returned to them, and it's a beautiful tale set in the meta of what the holiday represents. Yeah, The Grinch. The Grinch is a good secondary story for Christmas. Yeah, they might very well wear boots with fur, Bewitch. Welcome back, Victor. Oh, Sheeps, I love wood smoke. Yeah, good stuff. A stone soup story. All right. Do any of you have a name? What would you like to call this holiday, by the way? Also, we still need to come up with a holiday name for our drinking festival. I'm still open for naming suggestions for that, too. Point to the holiday of this, which I could fill in real quick while I'm looking for... I'm looking for suggestions here. This one was to enjoy a product of time, patience, and hard work, as well as remember the dwarves' past, which means that the halflings' past could be remembered with this other one too. We could slide that in there. In their flight and return to the distant mountain. I call it something along the lines of Hearthfed Festival. Call it the Day of Open Doors, or just open, like open door? Open doors? Like that, or... And that would feed back into the open door symbol. And of course, the door could have a hearth behind it. The Gathering, yeah. The door could be an opportunity, like there could be a sub symbol that is set into the door. Whoever thought of putting an open door as a welcome symbol on something even like a business card must be a smarty. It could, well, is something like this only one day? This might almost seem like maybe a week-long festival. Oh, now that I thought of plaid shawls, I want to make a version of my druid. Hey, good inspiration then, Hark. Oh, the arches, like the parade arches with the banners and stuff that hang down. The week of open doors, arches of gathering. So maybe open doors is arches also tied to the open doors. So open arches. Not that there's only one name that we have to come up with, especially because this is kind of a twofold. A twofold where if you have something like open doors, open arches, the week of open doors, that's a lot of that community inviting in or even opening up to people who might be in need. And then there's the sports part, which could be something like gathering strength or something along those lines. Malleus, you've come seeking enlightenment with 6 others. Welcome, Malleus. What were you up to on your channel? Or am I asking too early? Are you caught in ad purgatory? Hey, there we go, Malleus. Yeah, what were you doing before you came over to raid us? Thank you so much for that. And also, Malleus, you're welcome to shout out your channel if you want to pop a link in there. Just a chill night. Well, welcome to you and the others, because we're having fun creating autumn holidays together in our RPG workshop. And believe you me, this is an important part of world building. As people gathering and eating and coming into contact with each other through harmony or conflict, or in this case it is represented by feasting and sports. These are essential parts of making a campaign world. And so, Victor, you said that you're working on in a world of sorts. Having things like holidays are a big part of that. And so I hope that you get your own opportunity to make some really cool observances. Autumn holidays are the best holidays? I don't know, Malleus. There's a lot of food. I don't know. Like, I will agree that autumn is the comfiest season of the year. The best season of the year is winter. Like, universally the best, in my opinion. Ah, midsummer ones. All right, I'm going to get up and take a little break, everyone. And then when we come back, we have one more holiday to make. And this is going to be our Day of the Dead / our Ancestor Remembrance holiday. Ancestor / it'd be sort of like a Memorial Day for military. So this is going to be a much more somber day. One that's going to be a little bit more about reflection and whatnot. So, hang tight. Let's take 5 or 10 minutes, everyone. Get a drink, get a snack. I'm sure O'Sheeps has further instructions for you. And when we come back, let's make a Day of the Dead for our adventure setting fall holiday.